NASA rocket. This is Mission Control, Doggy and Amy. Are you ready for blast off? Get ready to launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! What? Oh, hi! I didn't expect you to be there. We were just playing Mission Control. It's when we blast off rockets. It's a pretty good game, yeah. Anywho, I'm so happy that you're here today. We're going to talk about my favorite writer, Octavia Butler. And she wrote science fiction. So she talked about space all the time. Let's check her out. Come on. So today, we're going to talk about Octavia Butler. Ba-ba-da-ba. Octavia Butler is one of the most important science fiction writers. She's the first Black woman to win both the Hugo and the Nebula. And not only is she the first one to win it, she's also won it twice. Both of those awards she won 2 times, which is pretty remarkable. And also, those are the highest awards that she could get as a science fiction writer. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is science fiction? Well, great question. Science fiction is a type of writing that has to do with science or outer space or aliens. Sometimes there can be dragons. Sometimes there can be monsters like zombies. And a lot of times it has to do with time travel, either into the future or into the past. So it's a type of fiction writing, so make-believe writing, that has to do with science and maybe science that doesn't exist yet, or future science that we wish existed. I mean, who doesn't want a time machine? Am I right? So what's really cool is Octavia plays with all types of science fiction. She does have books that are about outer space, and she also has books that are about time travel, and she has books that are about a future that is maybe not the best future, but where people become empowered and get through that hard future. So she is a great writer, and I'm really excited to talk about her today. And lucky for us, writer Vashti Harrison wrote this great book, which is Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History. And she has 40 different amazing, incredible Black women in this book. And it has their biography and a cute little drawing of them. And lucky for us, we've got Octavia Butler right here. Look at that picture, isn't that great? So I'm gonna take a seat and I'm gonna read this to you. All right, get ready for it. Octavia E. Butler, 1947 to 2006. So as I read this to you, I want you to think about if there's anything similar between you and Octavia, and listen to her childhood and maybe some things that you can relate to, okay? So I'm gonna read this. Despite her struggle with dyslexia, Octavia began writing when she was 10 years old. One day, she was watching a bad science fiction movie on TV and was inspired to write something better. This was her first attempt at writing sci-fi, a genre that would become synonymous with her name. She continued to write short stories through college and attended Pennsylvania's renowned Clarion Science Fiction Writers Workshop. In 1976, she published her first novel, Pattern Master. It made waves. A science fiction novel with Black female characters had never been seen before. However, Octavia's big moment came in 1979 when she published Kindred. Inspired by her mother's experience as a maid, it tells the story of a Black woman who travels back to the times of slavery. She wanted to write a story that would make others feel the history, the pain, and the fear that Black people have had to live through in order to endure. Octavia's publishers had a hard time categorizing her books, especially Kindred. Was it fantasy, history, science fiction, or fiction? And they were unsure about her audience. Did Black women read science fiction? Octavia and her books proved that they did. Octavia created a space for Black girls to like science fiction, a genre historically associated with white male writers and readers. She wanted to change the industry's perception of who the writers and the readers were, and show that science fiction could be for anyone. Through her fantastical works, Octavia discussed important topics in her own life and society: race, slavery, humanity, and religion. In 1995, she was awarded the prestigious MacArthur Foundation Fellowship, the first science fiction writer to receive it. It's a pretty big deal. Isn't that so cool that Octavia could use her writing to completely change science fiction forever, to make it available to people of color and to Black little girls by having wonderful Black female strong characters? I mean, that's amazing. She changed it. So as I said, Octavia Butler is my favorite writer. So I definitely own all of her books. And although her books are a little bit on the adult side, I wanted to share with you Octavia's biography. So at the back of most books, and we've read these before when we've read picture books or any books, authors have a little biography about themselves. So I'm going to read you Octavia's. I'm a 53-year-old writer who can remember being a 10-year-old writer and who expects someday to be an 80-year-old writer. I'm also comfortably asocial, a hermit in the middle of Seattle, a pessimist if I'm not careful, a feminist, a Black, a former Baptist, an oil and water combination of ambition, laziness, insecurity, certainty, and drive. How cool is that biography? So something I really love about it is how honest Octavia is. So today, we're gonna write our own biographies. Come on. So now, we are going to write our own bios. So how do we do this? Well, there's a couple of things we're gonna think about. Get a piece of paper. It can be any piece of paper and something to write with, okay? And of course, you can always draw pictures instead of writing if you don't feel comfortable writing, or you can ask for an adult to help you. But we're going to think about a couple of questions. So something I love that Octavia Butler writes in her biography is that she's a 53-year-old writer who remembers being a 10-year-old writer who hopes to someday be an 88-year-old writer. So the first question I have for you is, what is something you love to do? It can be anything. Do you love to sing? Do you love to dance? Do you love to write? Do you love basketball? Do you love, I don't know, swimming or being outside? Whatever it is you love to do. And not only is it something you love to do, but it's something you also hope to do when you're a grown-up. All right? Yeah, doggy, I know. Yeah. So what I'm going to do with my piece of paper, and we've kind of done this before, we've mapped things out before, is I'm going to write my name right in the middle. Oh my. A-M-Y. And I put a square around it, okay? And we're going to just start thinking about things we want to have in our biography. So the first question for you is, what do you love to do and you hope to keep doing once you're grown up? All right? Doggy, what do you think? I like writing stories. Oh, you know what? Telling jokes. I love telling jokes. And then what else? Oh, silly faces. I hope that I make silly faces for the rest of my life, till the end of time. Yeah, I know, doggy. I know. You want to see a silly face? Yeah. You want it? All right. Maybe you can make one too. That was pretty silly. I know. It could kind of, it's maybe a little creepy too. Anywho, so this is, I have my name, Amy, and then I just wrote, I have a little line off of here, writing stories, silly, oh, I forgot to write faces. Silly faces, telling jokes. Okay, So now, something I also really like about Octavia Butler's bio is that she has a list of things that are about her. So she has a list of description words that explain who she is. And not all of these words are things that we necessarily think of as happy or cheery. You know, she's just very honest. So this part might be a little tricky. You gotta really think. Maybe think about your vocabulary words at school. Or think about words, you know, there could be moods or feelings, anything. Sometimes I like to describe myself as a blue sky. I don't know, the color blue sometimes just really makes sense for me. So we're gonna put on our thinking caps and we're gonna just think for a second. Brainstorm on a couple of words that might describe you. I would say I am really cheery. And I'll say I like being around people. It's been a hard year for that. So I'm gonna put social, whereas Octavia Butler said she was asocial, which means she doesn't like being around too many people at once. So if that's true for you, you could write shy or alone time. And you know what? I'm gonna add observer. I really enjoy watching. I like people watching. I like sitting outside in nature and watching nature. I love watching animals. And then I'm gonna put, I wanna say that I play. I like to play. I love playing with toys. So maybe it's just a player of toys. And yeah, cheery, social, observer, playing toys. Let's take a couple of seconds to think of some words for you, and I'll think of some words for me. Okay, so I hope you found some words that describe you. So now, when we're making a biography, we have our little map, right? So the first question was, what is something that you love to do, that you hope to do when you're 88 or 100 or 53, okay? And for me, it was telling jokes, writing stories, silly faces. And then we talked about some words that might describe ourselves. And the words I came up with were cheery, social, observer, playing with toys, and a dreamer. This is a great map, and I'm sure your map is great too. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these words, take this map, and we're gonna transfer them into a paragraph or into a picture if you wanna draw a picture of yourself. So if I'm gonna draw a picture of myself, you know what? I'm gonna need another piece of paper. So I have my new piece of paper and I put my biography map up on my board. Thanks for watching it, doggy. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to draw a picture of myself and write a biography. So you can do both or do one or the other. I'm gonna start off by saying, I am a big kid who loves telling jokes and making silly faces. Okay, so that's the thing I love to do and I am hoping to do. So to get to that sentence of what I hope to do, I'm gonna kind of copy Octavia Butler, right? I'm gonna copy her structure. So next I'm gonna say, and I hope to be a person who tells funny jokes. Actually, I'm gonna say, I hope to be a 80-year-old, and you can put any age. You could say a 150-year-old, or you can say a 99-year-old, or you can say a 60-year-old, however, however old, right? We're just picking an age, a big number that we like. And I hope to be an 80-year-old who loves to still tell funny jokes and make silly faces. Here's another one. All right, I like that one. Okay, and make silly faces. And then I have this list. And what's so great about the way that Octavia Butler makes her biography, she makes it really easy for us. All I really have to do is take this list from my map and put it into a sentence, okay? So in order to do that, I'm gonna say, I am a dreamer, a cheery observer, a social person who loves to play. And there it is. We've got an entire biography just about us. That's pretty cool. I would love to hear what you guys have. I'm going to read you mine. The finished product. I am a big kid who loves telling jokes and making silly faces. I hope to be an 80-year-old who loves to still tell funny jokes and make silly faces. I am a dreamer, a cheery observer, a social person who loves to play. Ah, isn't that nice, doggy? Thank you. I bet you came up with so many great ideas. And now, if I want to, I could just draw a little picture of myself as this whole thing. So I'm just gonna draw a little smiley face. I guess I'll give it some hair, And I like a good stick figure, so I've got my little stick figure right here. All right. And I'm gonna put Doggy in my picture because I think Doggy and I have such a great time playing together. So, there's Doggy right there. Yeah, it's you, Doggy. You like that? And we're playing. So maybe I'll have like a ball that we're throwing back and forth. Or maybe, we had that rocket earlier today. I'll make a little spaceship that's getting ready to launch. I'm going to write NASA on it. Yeah. All I need is a little something to represent me and my little doggy. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was so great. And I'm so happy that I got to share Octavia Butler with you, who again, I love her. She is my favorite writer and she's an incredible woman. You can learn more about her and other authors and writing programs at lakeerieinc.org. I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.